Hello, everybody. It is Grungy Girl Journals, Lori B. Hopefully, this will be a short one, and I might do a little chat after I finish flipping through this new journal. And I might not because, um, it's kind of emotional, and I just don't know if I want to go there. So let's just see how I feel when I finish showing this journal. This journal has been uh, sold and it's going to its new owner. Thank you, Susan. It's going to its new owner, and it took me a couple of days to get to the point where I could do this flip through because we've had some weather. Yep, it's been very dark in my house, lots of thunder and lightning and electricity going out, and we fared through it fine. Um, just mainly the power going out, but it didn't stay out all that long. Just the house was just very dark and it was very loud outside. So I'm just now getting to the point where I can do a flip through. And this is going to be a quick one, like I said, because this is more of a blank journal. It's a writing journal. I like to make these just as much as I do the fuller journals because I love paper and all the paper that I use, I tea stain, and I use a lot of different types of papers. And I get that question a lot. I use cheap copy paper, parchment paper. I use the more expensive premium papers, cardstock. But I have found that my favorite for my writing journals is the cheap 20-pound copy paper. It has a beautiful texture to it when I finish tea staining and drying it. And I do dry mine in the oven, and it's a long process. I have 3 cookie trays, and so 2 go on each cookie tray, so bake. I can cook 6 pieces of paper at a time, and it's a lengthy process, and it's time consuming, and it's a little hard on the back, but I always am glad that I did it. I like dyeing my own papers. I've thought about selling some of my paper, but I don't know if I want to get into the whole selling supplies part of it. I enjoy the art process, and I said when I retired 3 years ago, I think it was, that I wasn't going to do anything that felt like work or I just I do this for peace and for joy, and I I just kind of want to stay there, and that might change in the future. I don't know. I have several things that I've thought about selling, like some of my tea dyed laces and other things that will already be distressed when they get to the buyer. But I'm still mulling that over. I've been mulling it over for a while, and I will let you all know if I ever decide to do that. And is that even something anybody would be interested in? So this journal is called Perfection is Overrated. And when I saw this plaque, I there were several in the package, and I ended up buying more of them with the same plaque in it because it's such a perfect example of what I like, what how I feel about perfection, and even imperfection can be beautiful. I mean, it absolutely can be, and I always strive for that. This is a little different than what I've done in the past. I tried to kind of think of new ways to make a journal look, and I think this one looks very different than any other journal I've made. I don't like to make the same journal over and over again, just because I don't feel like I'm growing if I do that. So this one took a while to come together, even though it's a blank journal, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It started out with this digital, and I will put those in the description box. I can't remember who I bought it from, but it was just a digital, and I distressed it with inks and matte medium and a little bit of translucent crackle and maybe a little bit of Tim Holtz crazing. Um, it's very, very different than the original digital. It's got texture to it. You can feel it. It's kind of, you can feel all that texture in it. So I did that, and really, I'm just going to pop it open. I used what do you call these? I forget, but these are Tim Holtz, I believe. Should I get a hitch closure? I don't know, but it screws into the cover. I've got 2 of them on here, and you just take that off. There are 3 strings there, or cords, and you kind of squeeze the book a little bit with your fingers and then pop that off. So this is the actual cover to the book. And I just want to show you a couple things on it first. So there are 3 rhinestones right here. This is I rusted up the safety pin, and I was so happy how it came out. It's my favorite rust piece that I've done so far. It's not flaky or anything like that, and I did seal it, but it wasn't even flaky before I sealed it. So you can kinda see how I did this. I did my stitching on the side. This stitching was through, I believe it was through this paper and then all the papers here, and then, the back side that I put on covered all the stitching in the back up, so you can't see that stitching from the back. So it holds the safety pin in place, and you can pop this open. I'm not gonna do it because they are intertwined in the stitching. And that is basically part of the closure. I braided some of this cord. I believe it was called crochet thread. It's a thicker one, but it's not too thick that it's bulky. So this is one long piece, and I just looped it over the safety pin. And then in between, all these are pieces of paper that I tea dyed, and they're just scraps really. And I just kept gluing them on, in different layers until I got uh, this look to it. I did that all around, and then in between the last layer of paper and the backing, I made this fringe. And I had some pom-pom fringe that I wasn't really crazy about, so I basically took it apart and I took the pom-poms off. So all I was left with were the balls. And I took some more of this cord and made myself a tassel on its own and threaded up through the ball. And then on another, I think it was tape, on a tape, I made, am I making any sense whatsoever? Anyway, I made my own trim because I wanted it to hang a certain way. I didn't want it to come straight up and just be one connection. I wanted there to be two there. So that's how I did that. And it was kind of fumbly. It was hard to get each separate tassel on the tape down so that I could sew them together, but I did it, and it is in between the last piece of paper on here and the back. So see, you can see it's kind of sandwiched in between there. And what this is joint compound tape that I have tea stained. This is another thing I've thought about selling by the yard, and it would not be expensive. Um, but it's kind of like wood. It's like super thin wood. It's like a paper wood, although that's what paper's made out of. But it's, when you tea stain it and then you've fiddled with it for a while, it gets soft, but it's still really, really dirty and doesn't fall apart. And these are the back sides of those hitches. You just screw them right into everything. So that's basically how I made that. Everything is glued together. And I added a couple of cute little keys and then just this tag that was in with my button jar. And it doesn't say anything. If you'd like to put something on there, you can. So that is that. And that took a while for me to do because I kind of had to use my brains to figure out how I was going to do that. But it came together really, really nicely, and I think it's unusual, which I like. So here's the actual journal. And I had such a good time thinking about all these different elements as as the ideas came. Um, this is just a regular digital that I printed out, and I had some baby's breath that I just stapled on there, and then kind of grungied it up with some inks. Same thing, inks and some matte medium and some translucent crackle paint and some swatches, and kind of roughed her up a bit. And where the staples are, I put a piece of masking tape. So she's just something that you can write on. And then she tucks in to this, which I loved doing this so much. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to pick out all the bits of lace that I mean, honestly, I have like 3 bins of bits of lace. It's ridiculous. I wish I did more of these because then I would be using them up. But then I got out buttons and all these. This is a bead from my jewelry days. It's mother of pearl. Gorgeous, gorgeous beads. Some rusty, tiny safety pins. Just beautiful. And, instead of showing it you like this, I'm just going to take it off because I made it removable. And you can use it as your bookmark or, you know, whatever, whatevs. Here's the back. Everything is hand sewn. I did not cover that up because I like to show that it's handmade and it doesn't have to be too neat. Sorry, I'm drinking my Premier protein shake and it's giving me little belches. Hold on, please. But I have to do that. I have to get my protein in. So it's just got little bits on there. A lot of these are antique, vintage. Some of these came from Lavish Laces, which is Jazilla, and she has a wonderful Etsy shop. It's called Lavish Laces. She's got smaller, and I've mentioned this before, she's got smaller laces that I haven't really seen anywhere else. And that's why I like to go there. And there's parts of doilies. This is a really old lace right here. Very hard for me to use that. And I put a little jiggy on the bottom. And these are just secured onto the book with, these are vintage snaps in black. So very easy to take on and off. And then it also serves as a nice little pocket for whatever you want to put in there. So everybody loves the ticking. I love the ticking. It doesn't matter what color it's in. I love the ticking. This is black in cream, and actually it's tea stained. So it was a little lighter than this, but this is some trippy fabric right here. Because while I was working on this book, it would look blue. It would look navy blue in certain times of the day. And then, at other times of the day, it would look black. And it was sold as black. And it is black. I think it looks black here. But as I was working on it, I would just be working, and then my eyes would kind of go to the ticking, and I would be, is that blue? That cannot be blue. Not that it really matters if it's blue. I would rather it have been black, and it is black. So that's some trippy fabric. I can't tell you how many times I questioned myself on whether that was blue or black, but I'm glad it's coming through on the screen as being, because that's what I wanted. So this is a squishy one. It just has some batting in between the layers. It's that nice size. It fits nicely in your hand. The one I'm working on now, which is right over there, that I'm going to give right over there that I'm going to give you a sneak peek. It's a little larger. This is a little smaller than a regular size journal. And to give you a little idea, the pages inside, um, full sheet of paper, but I cut off about 2.5 inches. So instead of using a full sheet of folded paper, I had to cut some of it off. It's almost more of a square journal than it is a rectangle. So it's nice and thick. It is a hidden spine. I got these beautiful buttons and I used 6 of them. Can't believe it. I used 6 of them. And this is another thing that kept showing blue and black, but it's kind of like iridescent. But these are beautiful. And it's from my friend Pam, Stitch It Pam. And if you look for her on Facebook, uh, oh, she has been collecting buttons for a long time, and she has been listing them on Facebook on Stitch It Pam. And I drop in there, and I don't go too often because, man, you know how we love buttons. So every once in a while, I'll go in there and I'll see some that I have to have. And I was lucky that there were enough and maybe a couple extra more in that I was able to get. And these were just perfect for this book. So this is kind of a faux. It looks like the signature block was put in, and maybe buttoned in, but actually it was glued in. The signature was glued in. Um, and then I sewed on the buttons. So it's kind of a trick. And I made there are 5 signatures. They're all separate, 5 signatures instead of doing one big signature where there were, bunches of pages. I did this one as separate signatures, and each signature has one of these on the front, and they're just backed with some scrap paper. And I kind of did the same thing as I did on the cover with the scrap papers and these digitals. I fell in love with these digitals, and I will absolutely list them below. And I did the same thing, and then I just punched a couple holes in it and used that same cord, tied a little bow on there, and used some of these clips to clip them on to each front of the signature. So you're getting 5 of these clips, and boy, that's hard too. It's hard to give up these silly little doodads, that you want to keep, but I am sharing because what else am I going to do with it? Each signature also has, it's numbered right here, and they look like typewriter keys. And I just stapled those on. You know why I keep going over here? Because on my screen, there's a there's something on there. Oh, you know what? I bet I can get rid of that. It's for my light. It's for my extra light. And it's showing it's like an adjust thing. You can adjust your light. And so I think you see it, but you can't really. But I kept moving everything over because I think you can see it. Okay. See, that just went dark. Darn it. Okay. Well, that messed up my light. So hold on a second. Sorry. I messed everything up. Okay, how do I get it back? Well, that was silly. So now I don't got the good light. Okay, I think that's as good as I'm gonna get. Remind me not to do that again. Okay, so each signature has a different card, and each signature also has some ephemera, some book pages, things like that, that I just kind of stuck in there. I didn't want to do any pockets or doodads inside of the book because this is a writing book and it's got beautiful, beautiful tea stain distressed paper in it, and I like to show off that paper. And that's usually what journal a person who journals does is they write in their books and then they stick stuff in them. So that was kind of my idea with this one, and I got this from um, isn't it pretty? It's from Harper's New Monthly Magazine, and she sent me this. And oh my gosh, I knew it before I started filming. Leah, Leah sent me this, and she sent me a couple other fabulous things too. Gracie, no, okay, Gracie's coming over, so you might see her. You see her shadow. So I just stuck things in there, and I also did some hidden paper clips. And these are advertisements in the back of magazines, originals that I cut out. And I thought this one was funny. Why don't you write? Newspapers Institute of America. And then that's too small. I can't read it. But I made 5 hidden paper clips. Huh, put that in later. I had a little tear, a few tears, so and some of them they weren't torn, but I wanted to put toe tape in there anyway because it's cute. And then instead of cutting off my strings, I just left them, and you're welcome to cut them off if you like. And if you want to see how I distress my papers, I do have another video farther down on my video list, and it's called something like All Secrets Revealed or something like that. And it's been a really popular video, and I don't know if people actually believe that that's how I distress my papers, but I really do. That's how I really do it. And I think the only thing I forgot to mention, duh, in the in that video was that I tea stain everything beforehand. So that's really how I do it. And if you'd like to see that, then pop over there. So all the metal that I put in has been rusted and sealed. And she, love her. And here is another card. This is the second signature. I said this was going to be short. It happens every time. It's not so short. It was a piece of original music. Have lips will kiss in the tunnel of love. And this side is love of my life. Another paper clip. And this one is for biscuit pizza. And it was from a May 1957 catalog. And this is from a book called What's O'Clock? What's O'Clock? And it's just a collection of poems. And this one is called Song for a Viola d'Amore. And I just put them together with a button. And that's the original. And then in the back, where my strings were from adding the button, I just put a piece of masking tape over it. Now, what do you think you're doing, Gracie? Do you want to say hello? Here's number 3. Your paper clip. Moo Cow and her baby. Now, I love this. My mom went to cosmetology school a long, long time ago, and she had some handbooks, some things that they had to study in. And that's just a piece of one of those pages. Excuse me. Here's a piece of rag paper. I don't think it's quite 100%. No, I don't think that's rag paper. It might have a little cotton in it. Very soft, though, very pretty. And this is the middle. Love this button. Guys, I'm sorry I lost my lighting. I shouldn't have done that. Beautiful what's this called? Cross stitch applique. And I believe this was a table runner. And I just put some goodies in there. I think this came from my friend Sherry. Thank you, Sherry. That's the middle of the book. And I had to include a little booklet. I have a bunch of these. They're just the sappiest, silliest jokes. Here's number 4. 28 minutes. You get card. You get the Ace of Hearts. Another paperclip. Imported miniatures, 7 pieces for $1. What? Each set has a tiny saucer and dainty matching cup. 7 for $1. This paper is so soft. And this is just that regular cheap copy paper. Tags. This is a really soft bag. And then number 5. Umbrellas. Another paperclip, the last paperclip, and it is from a journal. I mean, it's from a dictionary, and it has the definition of journal, which I circled. And another book page. This is not English. German, maybe. Not sure. And one of these bookmarks. I don't know if you can see it. There's a lady on there. It's from a lesson book. And I put a pocket in there with a big safety pin. And my signature card, which I need to sign. And I also included a really pretty hanky, an old hanky, which I'm not going to unfold because that's the way I wanted it to display in the book or in the pocket. I need to remember to sign that. And that's it. So it turned out beautifully. I love it, and I hope Susan loves it. And that will be going in the mail today. Which brings me to a sneak peek of the book I'm working on. And this one is just so opposite in a way than what I'm working than the one I just showed. And I haven't even named this one yet. It just says journal on the front. And here it is. Get all of it in there. I've been wanting to work with red. It is a pinky red. It's a little more pinky in the lighting up here than it is where I've been working on it. Um, it's like a pinky red. This is more like a rosy red pink. It's really pink on my screen. These are darker right here, but this is just a beautiful fabric. And I have not sewn the ruffles on yet. You can see they're pinned right here. I am unsure if I'm going to make this removable or not. Um, it doesn't get in the way or anything of opening it, or I just thought it'd be nice for it to be removable if you want to remove it. And I made the ruffles. Another pin. I made the ruffles with a lot of material to make this. See the back. You know, nothing. I don't do fancy stitching. Um, I just kind of pieced it together and used some of. I use these roses a lot. This rose trim. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So there is that. And also on the side, I used 3 different buttons. It's tape that I lost that light. Pretty buttons. Piece of velvet. And boy, this hand stitching was a challenge. And I'm not quite done yet. The back I still need to do. So here's where I stopped. So I need to do the second row. Mhm. And actually what is giving me those stitches is putting in the inside cover fabric. So here's my signature block. And then you can see my thread and needle. So as I'm stitching in this part of it, I'm making that second row of stitching on the outside. And these are made out of christening dress sleeves. And there's tiny, teeny, tiny little stitches on these. So I have it pinned where the middle of the cover is. And once I get my 5 signatures, which one of them is a pocket, sewn onto a piece of fabric, it will go in here like this, and it will be a hidden spine. It will be glued in, and it will be a hidden spine. So I have 4 actual paper signatures, and then the middle is a pocket, which I might do a little something with some buttons or something. And I just put, I'm not finished with it yet. It'll be sewn in here, and then it will be sewn, once I get it in the book, it will be sewn around the outside to create a pocket. And I like the way it peeks out. I like the way it peeks out on the side. So that is the one I'm working on. And this one will be up for sale. You just need to contact me in Facebook messaging and let me know if you're interested. I don't have a price for it yet. I am making a cover, not a cover, a pouch. Hold on a second. I'm making a pouch for it out of this beautiful fabric. It's just going to be a regular pouch that this is going to go into. And here is the pouch for the other Perfection is Overrated book. Forgot to show that. So this is some more beautiful, beautiful fabric. It's like a quilted, it's really high end. This is a really high end fabric. And I have more if anybody's interested in purchasing some. I just rusted up a snap and it goes in there. So the pouch for this one will be pretty much like this one. I did all this hand stitching around the floral. That took me a while, excuse me. Turned out really pretty though. And it's all hand stitched. Everything is hand stitched. So that is that. And you can tell there's such a difference between these 2 journals. And it kind of shows my mindset that I have been in the last few months. This one, I it's almost like I had to do something that pushed me, that I'm talking about perfection is overrated, that pushed me, that I had to figure things out differently and come up with um, new ways to do it, and have it a give it a new look. And it kind of represents, these two books kind of represent where I was a couple months ago versus where I am now. And that in no way means dark and light, or pretty and not pretty. Nothing like that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I was, the world has gotten just crazy. And in turn, our junk journal community and on Facebook and YouTube has gotten a little cray cray too. And I've felt like I needed to immerse myself into something without getting deep. I really did. I felt like I just had to immerse myself in things that really challenged me, that I needed to figure out, that I could do differently, that expressed kind of where I was and how I was feeling about the world. And um, oh, it all sounds so dramatic, and I don't mean it to be, but when I looked at these side by side this morning, I really saw the difference in how I'm feeling. And I love them equally. I'm crazy about both of them. I don't want it to sound, like I said, like I'm comparing, like anything is dark and anything is light, or anything is beautiful, and nothing like that. I think they're both equally beautiful. But my mindset when I was making them was very different. And I found myself needing to turn off from everything that's going on and really immerse myself in doing different things when I was working on this one. And get a little dirty about it, get my hands dirty. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I think something really, really beautiful came out of it. When I started thinking about it was, and it's totally unconscious, when I started thinking about what my next book I wanted to do, I was going through my fabrics, and I've overlooked this one or gone past this one. It's been in my hands, and I've put it back. Wasn't ready for it yet. And this time, though, I you know, it spoke to me or something. I don't know. I feel a little lighter. I feel a little more hopeful. Um, I've come to some decisions about things on Facebook and YouTube and just other things in general. And I think you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of politics and religion posts going on right now, and it's been heavy on my heart, the way people are treating each other. And I needed to lift myself out of that. And my way of doing that was honestly to just work on something super feminine and pink, because pink always inspires me and makes me want to make it super pretty. And I don't know what to say about what's been going on, on Facebook and YouTube. And if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And I don't get in the middle of things like that. I don't get in the middle of them, but it does bother me, and it affects me. Um, and I'm sure that it affects a lot of you too. It's unnecessary. It's so much of it is petty, um, and it makes me disappointed. And I hope by my saying that I don't lose viewers, or I don't lose friends on Facebook, because I'm not taking any sides. I'm not giving my opinion on any particular thing. Just that it's affected me, and it's gotten to the point where sometimes it's overwhelming. Um, and I don't like that for us. There's no place for it in art. This is how we get out of that. This is how we bring beauty into our lives, into the lives hopefully of others. And that's what I want, and that's what I need out of it. And all this other stuff is sad. And I can't wait for things to turn around. I don't know how that's going to happen. And I'm more talking about the state of the world more, and the nation. I don't know. I don't know. And I pray about it a lot and I worry about it a lot, which I shouldn't do. But so this is my way of coping with what's going on. And my art has been that way for a long time, but I've leaned on it very, very heavily lately. Um, and I hope you can understand that. And I wanted to share that with you because number one, I needed to talk about it. And number two, I'm sure there's other people that feel the same. And I want you to know that you're not alone and we're going to get through it. Uh, we will get through it. So, whoo, now you know why I really didn't want to talk about this because I didn't want to bring this down. I didn't want to, I, I strive for love and happiness. That's my thing. That's my bag. I, I'm one of those can't we all just get along people. So I just thought I would throw my 2 cents in. I hope you don't mind. I want you all to know that I love this community. I do. I I want to continue on in this community and continue to enjoy it and express myself and see others express themselves with art. So I think I'm done. This video is going on 48 minutes, and I apologize for that. And when I go to download it, I'm going to try to speed it up just a little bit so that it doesn't just drag on. But again, I apologize if any of that offends anybody. I certainly don't mean to offend anybody. Um, and I will continue to work on this beauty and get this beauty out in the mail today. And again, if you are interested in purchasing the book that I'm working, excuse me, that I'm working on now, please contact me. I have not had any, I have not started a list on it yet. And I think I've explained this before. I don't sell my journals ahead of time before I'm done with them. And if anybody expresses interest in them, I put them on the list and then I go down the list. I contact and go down the list when I'm done. And, you know, it usually, somebody usually uh, buys it. So if you're interested, just let me know, and you know how to contact me. So everybody have a beautiful day. I'm sorry if this got deep, but I got to get it out, like I said. And hopefully my next video will be a little perkier. And I will see you next time. And say hi to Louie.